Tally, in terms of technology and kind of accelerating through technology, oftentimes I hear and I've thought to myself, well, I'm never going to buy a first generation anything because there's kinks to be worked out. And how do you think that the development of the nuts and bolts of the electrification of vehicles either gives people an opportunity to dip a toe or prevents them from fully investing because of fear that the development that's going to make this thing go for 600 miles, like the Lumen car, is just around the corner. If I go today, I'm going to shoot the moon too quick. Do you see any of that, and how does your organization think about it in terms of where you put your focus and where you put your development dollars?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult problem. You always have some early adopters, but if that doesn't scale, that you've just invested in a technology
Right.
that is not going anywhere. So you're always trying to Harry's point, you're trying to make it easier for the user to use your technology as seamlessly as possible. Mm-hmm. So what we do is very similar to what you do. We actually end up building, instead of focusing on selling a chip or a piece of software, we end up building an end application. Sometimes it's a car or a piece of a car, and handing it over to an OEM like GM or Ford and say, look, try this out, test it in your facility, run it for X years, and convince yourself that it works for you and you feel like it's reliable, it's commercializable, it's scalable, and it's fundamentally you have these big industries that are trying to change their paradigms as fast as possible, and it's going to happen with just private users as well, right? The nice part is I think there's a lot of convergence that's happening in the use cases. So instead of having one vehicle or a couple of vehicles in the family that's supposed to do everything, we have a lot of tools now. We have car sharing, we have loaner programs, we have ride sharing apps, and the vehicles in those fleets, if you will, can be very different. The vehicle I use for my commute only needs to get me to and from work 40 miles. Mm-hmm. I don't need a long-range battery in there. I just need to make sure I'm at work or at home long enough to recharge that battery. But the taxi driver, is going to need something else, either something that can get him 500-600 miles reliably, regardless of weather or range and so on. So all of that is going to have to be taken into consideration, and we'll have technologies for some use cases, and we may not have it for others. The batteries are still only a tenth of the energy density as the petrochemicals are. Mm-hmm. So fundamentally, there's only so many batteries you can put in a vehicle.
Right.